Hey, like Sam worship team, it's Kevin. I am currently in a parking lot sitting outside of Starbucks. Yeah, long story there. Anyway, it's not really a long story. I don't know why I said that. Anyway, I wanted to shoot a video because there's a lot of things I wanted to communicate, and I wanted to make sure you didn't miss the heart of what I was saying. And text, you'll lose a lot in translation, and also you probably won't read it if it's text. So I have a lot of things to say, so I'm going to try and cover them fast, but no promises. First, last time I sent a communication, I sent a thing about being all in, and I said, much like we're doing reset, I want everyone to pray and ask the Lord, are you actually called to be on the worship team? And if so, I want you to be all in, and if not, I want you to leave the team. Not because I hate you, but just because if you're not called to this, you're called to something else, and I want you to do what you're called to do. I got some feedback on that, so just wanted to clarify. When I say all in, I don't mean like give up everything in your life and be on the worship team. What I mean is on the moments that you are on the worship team, whether that's once a month because of your availability, whether that's every week if you're me, or anything in between, I want you present, and I want you to be in the moment, be all in. And that, so does that make sense? So I'm not asking for you to open up your availability as wide as you can. I'm just asking that if you're supposed to be on the team, that you take the commitments seriously. And that's not a correction. I don't think there's anyone on the team that's not. This is just a vision cast of saying, I know that you're called to be on the team and God's asking you to do it. And so I'm just wanting to hold your feet to the fire a little bit and say, God's asking you to do it, so do it well. Which goes along with the next thing. I have an iPad here that I took notes because I knew I'd forget stuff. This would be one of them. So Thursday practice is back. Here's how Thursday practice is going to work. It is inclusive rather than exclusive. And what I mean is if you are free on Thursday and you have no other obligation or family thing and it's a thing, it is mandatory. If you have any good reason why you can't make it, be it another ministry, be it a family commitment, be it an ongoing thing, be it work, be it traffic to get to Bellevue is going to be too hard, it is not mandatory. And so what I'm trying to separate is if you're saying like, I just am not in the mood today, just go. Just come to practice, and it'd be good. It's better if you do. If you're like, I have a legitimate reason why I can't be there, then that's absolutely fine. And to be clear, we're never going to say, or I shouldn't say never. In this season, we're not going to say, oh, you didn't make Thursday practice, so you're not going to be able to sing on Sunday or play on Sunday. What we are going to say is if you can be there, it's going to help you be all in, and it's going to help the team. And that's not like a weird, like, Christian-y way of pressuring you to do something. It's just, you get what I'm trying to say, right? Like, if you're in, be in, and if you're available, be in, and if you're not, don't worry about it. Don't stress about it. Don't write me an apology letter. It's fine. It's all good. Third thing, I love the conversation that we've been having. A lot of people we've been talking about what it means to be anointed and what anointed worship is like. And so I wanted to pitch this idea. A couple of the worship leaders and I were having a conversation about this, and this idea came out of brainstorming. So I help out with the youth downstairs, and we'll get to that in a sec. And what I tell the youth is if you practice your instrument 5 to 10 minutes a day, 3 times a week, you will improve. You just will. And if you do more than that, you'll improve faster. And so that's a helpful thing for them, because if you only have 15 minutes a week, everyone can carve out 5 minutes 3 times a day, I think. That feels reasonable. So in the same way with your skill, I want to say there's a way, if you want to practice anointed worship, what does that look like? It's not about skill. In fact, skill is getting in the way because you're thinking about all of the things that you have to do and play, and the rhythms and the harmonies and all of those things are keeping your brain from being able to enter into an anointed place. So if I'm going to say 5 minutes a day for 3 times a week, but do it however long you want, throughout the week, even if you're not scheduled to play, pick up your instrument and worship. And you're like, I play bass. What do I do with that? Play bass and worship and orient your heart towards the Lord and play your instrument as an expression of your heart. And my prediction is that if you do that, then when we do worship, sure, there's chord progression, sure that we got to get that break in the song, sure we have to do all the technical things, oh no, my monitor's not working, all those things will be there, but your heart will be oriented to worship, and you'll know what that feels like, and you'll be easier able to enter in. And I think that's going to help change the worship team, because some of the conversation has been like, we brought Mary on, and Mary is awesome, and if you've had any conversation with her, you know, like, she is a lovely person, and we love having her here. But some of the conversation is like, why are we importing anointing? And that's a really good question, and the answer is we're not. We're bringing someone in to help teach us, and we're learning by, not osmosis, but we're learning by watching and observing, and we're learning by just soaking in God's presence in a deep way, to where it's starting to get this way where it's starting to feel weird if we don't experience God's presence in a deep way, right? So we want to just continue to grow in that, and this is a practical way of doing that. Youth. So I told you I want to. So I'm on staff full time, but I do volunteer my time to help the youth group. That's not something I get paid for, but I think everyone is called to serve, and that's an area where I'm called to serve. And so I've been helping the youth with worship, and Pam, shout out to Pam, has stepped up in an amazing way, and her life is being transformed by the power of serving, and it's been awesome. So the youth have started a worship team, and they're growing in their skill, and to the point, we've had them upstairs a couple times, so you may have heard them. They're not at a place where they could lead worship on their own. They still need Pam or I to be there, but they're like right on that cusp where it can be possible. So I'm not mandating anything. I'm just asking you to pray, and actually like pray and see if you should do this. Or maybe you're like, I'm just going to do it unless God tells me no, and that would be great too. But we have to figure out how to integrate the youth with the adults more. And so what I'm proposing is, there's two things that you could do that would be really awesome and helpful. There's three things. One of them is do nothing, and that's totally fine. God bless you, it's fine. But a thing that would be really helpful to pour into the next generation is donate your time on a Wednesday night, and that, or honestly any night. If you were to go up to any of the musicians in the youth band, and like if you're a bass player and you're like, I want to pour into the bass player downstairs, and you can either come on for worship practice and coach the bass player, and I know what you're thinking, and yes, you are qualified to coach. You don't have to be an expert, you just have to be further along than the person behind you, and you are. So you can do that, or meet up with them anytime during the week, talk with their parents, arrange a time, and you can go through me and I'll help you connect dots and just help teach the youth how to do what you do. The other thing, that this is going to be disruptive, and so we need to figure out how to make this work, and this is kind of a fresh idea, but if you would be willing to have the youth shadow you on a Sunday morning, which means that you'll be doing what you usually do on a Sunday morning, but also, and on a Thursday night, but also have the youth there, and you're explaining what you're doing and why you're doing it. And it doesn't have to be super long and engaged. It can just be, hey, the drummer broke. I don't know why I'm using bass players as an example this whole time, but the drummer did a break there, so I did a break there. Questions? Good. Or whatever. Like, hey, I'm a singer, and we do a harmony here, and even just having them there watching us, I think will help. But what I'm trying to do is just connect the generations a little better, because at the end of the day, the youth are not the next generation. They're this generation of Lake Samm, and so are you. We are all today's church, so we just want to integrate a little better. And again, if you're like, I'm stressed enough, totally fine. But do me a favor and just ask the Lord what you should do. And if he speaks to you, yes, then great. If he speaks to you, no, great. I'm happy. I just want you to hear the Lord. Last thing, and it's going to be super fast. I was hoping this video would be under 10 minutes, and I'm not going to make it. We have a Spotify account. If you go to, I think it's spotify.com/LakeSamm, I will post a link, but there's going to be there is a Spotify account that's going to be the main one we use. Heather has volunteered to keep it up to date with. There's going to be a lot of different playlists. One of them is, here are the songs we're doing this Sunday morning, so worship leaders won't have to create their own playlist if they don't want to, and the link will stay the same. So all of the musicians can just go to that playlist and know that's the set for this Sunday. Another playlist is, here's the songs that we're doing, so it's like songs that are just in our canon. So just to help you familiarize yourself with the song, so that way you're not needing the music as much, and there's a familiarity that makes it a lot easier to worship. And then she's also doing other playlists. Like she has these like really cool creative names that I'm not going to recall off the top of my head. Like there's one for when I just need to stop and pray, and I don't really want to like come up with a playlist. I just want something for me. Like there's a prayerful, meditative kind of playlist, and then I think she's working on a workout jams one. It's still kind of in a beta test, but so I'll post a link to that, but know that that's there. And if you have a need for that, go. If you have questions, comments, concerns, let me know. And then just next time you see Heather, be like, hey, you're awesome. And Heather's, hopefully you're gonna watch this to the end, and Heather, you're awesome. Okay, so those are the 6 things that I had to say. Thank you so much for serving. We have this scheduled out till January. Yeah, that's all. See you guys soon. Love you. Dang it, Kurt's broken me, because someone told me the other day, I knew you were talking to Kurt because you ended the conversation with love ya, but it wasn't in a way that you would say to your wife. Dang it, Kurt. Love you all, for real. It's great serving with you. And that's all.